This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jay here, welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 265. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where we're talking about painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 videos a week. Ow! Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop showed off a bunch of new rules for some new minis coming out, one of the new miniatures that is going to be in the 11th edition launch box, and there was a little bit on how the objectives for 11th edition are going to be square instead of round. And that brings me to today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace allows any design the website of their dreams with the most powerful and easiest design tools in the industry, like Design Blueprint. Using AI technology empowers anyone to build a more personalized website tailored to their needs, crafting a bespoke digital identity. Choose from a professionally curated selection of styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Squarespace makes sure it's easy to launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. With Squarespace, it's never been easier to set up a unique online storefront. Whether your services are physical, digital, or service-based, selling your wares has never been easier. Squarespace offers an unmatched ability to showcase your unique wares with images, videos, reviews, and add-ons, all capped off with their seamless checkout tools, letting your customers use whatever system they prefer, whether Klarna, ACH Direct Deposit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, or ClearPay. Squarespace offers a free trial for you to dip your feet into and test the waters, and ready to dive in headfirst, you can go to squarespace.com/EonsOfBattle or follow the link in the description to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Last week, Games Workshop showed off a rather lackluster Vanguard veteran. He didn't feel all that veteran-y, it kind of just looked like a Space Marine with a head swap. But the new Weirdboy is positively weird. The Weirdboy is a really cool model. I have the old Forge World one, or not Forge World, but the old Failcast resin one. It used to be made out of metal, but I have the Failcast version. And it's a guy being held down by a bunch of other Gretchen. This guy goes a different route. He's got all of these different extension cords that are floating up behind him because he is unleashing the power of the Wog. And this guy, he is really cool. He fills up his base nicely. He's got all sorts of really nice detailing. I really like how his robes kind of curl up to continue this exploding radius of bits coming off of him. His face is wonderful with his snaggly teeth and his crazy eyes. I love his mech harness that is channeling the powers of the Wa. This guy is really cool. It'll be interesting to see if we get new rules for the Weirdboy. I think they still have the jump. I haven't seen Weirdboy being taken a lot in 10th edition, although if he can teleport boys, that could be a more interesting way of not having to take an Ork transport, although the Ork transports are excellent because they're incredibly cheap. They have very big transport capacity, decent movement. Like, Orks still utilize transports really well in 40k, which is nice because most other armies don't do transports that well. Drukhari and Eldar definitely do, but as a Space Marine player, as a Black Templars player, someone who would typically enjoy transports, it's usually not worth it, especially since Space Marine transports are so expensive. Why would I buy an 80 point or like an 80 plus point transport for my regular Space Marine boys, like doubling their cost just to move them a little quicker when there's a lot of ways to get advanced in charge or just deploying from where I want to deploy them from. There's a lot of ability, and the board is physically smaller, being 44 by 60 instead of the classic 4 by 8. Like, everything just makes it so you kind of don't need transports as much as you used to. But the Weirdboy, just being able to teleport stuff is a lot of fun. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is I'm pretty sure he teleports another squad, not the squad he's attached to. Although that could be better because typically you always want war bosses attached to anything in your Ork armies. War bosses are fantastic. And pretty darn cheap for what they are. I think they're like 80 points, and that is an absolute steal for they give the things that is attached to them +1 attack, which on the Wog turn can be absolutely brutal but cunning, especially if you're teleporting them. I really like it. I really liked the first Ork that they showed off that is going to come in the 11th edition launch box. It seems like the Orks are going to absolutely knock it out of the ballpark. They look really good. There's some like kind of subtle differences between the new Orks and the old Orks. The classic Orks from like 1999, they have a look to them and there's something to love about them. I have like 60 of them in my army. They're classic. I've glued on a lot of alternate bits that I've purchased online and from different secondhand stores. but the Monopose boys, I think that kit is specifically called Boys on the Games Workshop web store. Really nice sculpts, really nice poses, a little extra bulky, but not too much bigger than the new boys. And it looks like the one Ork boy that they showed off is gonna be maybe a hair less bulky, but a little bit more detailed and a little bit better looking. I'm really intrigued to see if they follow their rule, if they give them the same treatment that they gave the Tyranid and Leviathan. When the launch box comes out, it'll come with a bunch of Monopose Ork boys and whatever else comes in the kit. And then quickly afterwards, then they'll come out with a multi-part plastic kit for the boys. And it'll be interesting to see how that works. The Beast Nagas are really well done. The way that works is that you've kind of got the head and the torsos and the legs all connected together, but then the arms, any of the arms will fit on any of the torsos. Kind of like the Sisters of Battle and like classic Space Marines. Like the way Games Workshop has figured it out with their plastic kits is really clever and really good. And orcs should be incredibly easy to kit bash. Like that is the thing with the orcs, is just gluing on whatever you want and making your guys really unique. So I would love to see some new orc kits. Although I do already have so many boys, I'd probably put together all of the new interesting stuff before I refresh my boys. But I would like to have the boys looking really good too. And speaking of new things I want to add to my army, Games Workshop showed off the rules for the new biker guy. Was Daka Gutsmeck. Rules revealed. I was reading this and like, it's cool. He looks really good. I like the look of his rules. But then when it said that this guy allows bikes to be battle line, all of a sudden my 18 war bikers is not enough. I can double it. I can take as many orc war bikers as I want. And I intend to. I'm going to make even more war bikers because I'm always going to take the maximum number of war bikers I am allowed to take in game. I absolutely love the war bikers. And this guy, he is the leader of the entire cult of speed, but he does not attach to a war biker squad, which is kind of nice because what is the name of the orc war boss on Warbike now? That used to be what it was. You could just take a war boss on a bike, but then there's the trike, the orc trike. It's pretty darn good and it can attach and lead squads of war bikers. And so I can still do that in my army. I've got 2 of them. And so I can lead 2 big expensive bricks of bikers. And then this guy can just be zooming around the board. He's got Deep Strike, he's got Lone Operative, he's got Movement 14, which pairs nicely with the Lone Operative, which can't be shot at greater than 12 inches away. So he can stay 13 inches and then zoom in to charge something. Now his gun is good, but I would hate to see orcs actually get good at shooting. Even the shooty squads like Flash Skits and Ludas, I like the idea of orcs have painfully bad shooting skill, but you can sometimes make it work with volume of attacks. That makes it fun and makes it feel orky. But if you're just kind of good at shooting, you're just a normal unit, and orcs historically are bad at shooting. 12 shots, hitting on 4, strength 6, AP -2, damage 2, very nice. It's a marine killer. And then he's also got the Grabba Draga, assault and precision, 1 shot on 2s, strength 10, AP -2, damage 3. Hitting on 2s, once again, a shooting attack. And you don't necessarily have to make orc shooting good. Hitting on 2s, I'm a little bit more okay with this one just because it's the Grabba Draga, and so it's a close combat weapon that's pretending to be a ranged weapon. I suppose it's not pretending to be a ranged weapon. It is a ranged weapon, but is it really? And if he's aiming his fist, I feel like that's a little bit easier to comprehend than an orc aiming an actual rifle or a gun. And so that's a little bit okay. Although when it is the Grabba Draga, I think it has just flat 3 damage. I would love to see the damage. This would be OP, but it would be so incredibly fun and flavorful. What if the damage was equal to how many inches you moved that turn? Because you shot and you grabbed him and then you dragged him. And so if you move 10 inches, that's gonna do 10 damage. Or if you moved only 1 inch, it's only gonna do 1 damage. That would be an incredibly fun rule. It would mean that you got something extra to think about in the movement phase, because if you're like, oh, I really want to shoot this rhino and I want to be able to do a lot of damage to it, So I'm gonna make sure that I set myself up a lot of movement before I do this shooting attack. I think that that would be a really, really fun ability that would be very, very orky and very flavorful. But if I can't have that, then I guess precision is fine. It is kind of cute that he can just shoot and grab the Commissar and just basically nuke the Commissar out of the Guardsman squad. This guy seems like he's gonna be tons and tons of fun. Also, his other abilities, he has a like triplet of abilities that you can pick from, like a lot of different like epic heroes in 40k. Able to declare a charge in a turn in which he advanced or fell back. Really, really good. This is probably the one you're gonna do because you're just gonna charge in, do a whole bunch of damage, and then hopefully bounce into other things where maybe you're leaving other things behind to let the warbikers and warbosses deal with it. That seems like the great one. There is Uppy Downy, Shock Attack Engine, it's called for this guy. This one is good, but I feel like situational. He's on a big ol' 120 millimeter oval base. Maybe late game, it might be great to like pick him up and put him back down somewhere else, especially with Lone Operative. It's a really, really powerful unit, but it typically seems to do best on really inexpensive things like Space Marine Scouts or Vespid Stingwings. Like cheaper objective standing on units seem to do a little bit better with this rule. Mandrakes are also another one. Cheap. Warp Spiders don't have Uppy Downy, but they have like 23-inch movement, which effectively is Deep Strike. Those types of cheaper units tend to do better with this rule. This guy's gonna be really, really pricey, so I can't imagine it's gonna be that worth it to have him off the board ever or at all. But it's definitely an interesting ability. And then his last ability, Pulse Jet, he can just go through terrain. That is really, really nice, being able to Kool-Aid Man through a wall like the Imperial Knights without having to take the Battle Shock check is really, really powerful. I don't know how many points this guy is gonna be, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot. I mean, toughness 8, 10 wounds, 3-up save with a 4-up invuln, objective control 3, movement 14, with the ability to advance and charge. Like, this guy is stacked with a lot of very, very powerful abilities. So we'll see what ends up happening with this guy. Seems like Games Workshop has definitely been cranking up the power level of the characters that they've been coming out with. And speaking of cranking up the characters, we also got the rules for Commissar Yarrick. He is classic human plus in the world of Warhammer 40,000, toughness 4, 4-up save, 4-up invuln, 5 wounds. His old Baelai, his laser eye, is 2 shots hitting on 2, strength 6, AP -2, damage D3 plus 1 precision. So it'll be really good at taking out like Dark Eldar characters, but other than that, and Gene Stealer Cult characters, my precious Groot characters, it'll do really good at taking out like human level threats and below, just sniping them out of squads. And then the real star of the show, the Power Claw, 4 attacks on 2s, strength 8, AP -2, damage 2. And once again, I feel like it's a little lame that he hits on 2s. It's great, but he's a commissar, and so like he's in the Guardsman army, so he could have orders to make him a little bit better. And so I think probably would have been a little bit more reasonable for him to hit on 3s, but then you can easily get it to 2s if you need it to be, rather than just him hitting on 2s all of the time. It seems a little silly that a regular old human is hitting on 2s. I guess he's got the cybernetic augmentations that make him super able to wield a weapon like a Power Claw, but he also has a triplet of abilities, and one of these is absolutely unreasonable. He can issue orders. He can issue up to 2 orders. That is the classic thing for Imperial Guard, is you're issuing orders to all of your different guys, and it's a really fun mechanic that makes you kind of have to be a good general and have all of the things going off at the right times to make the most out of your relatively bad data sheets. But this guy, if he orders the first order in any particular phase, he can give it to something, and then that something can also hand out the same order to everything within 6 inches. Now, he can order Titanic units, so you can issue like move to a Bane Hammer, and then that can issue the same order to the entire rest of your army, because that model is so big. He has like an effective order range of like 25 inches. It's absurd. At this point, orders definitely seemed a little bit more particular back in the day. I know everybody needed to take Lord Solar Leontis because he gave out extra orders just to try to get your order economy up a little bit more. Now it just seems like every single guardsman unit gets every single order they want for the entire game, which is a little spicy. But you know what? I'll take spicy orders over the early launch of 10th edition when indirect fire could hit on 2s, re-rolling 1s, probably with +1 to, or no, with re-rolling wound rolls of 1. It was absurd. Basilisks and Thunderfire cannons were automatically hitting. Indirectly. Guard had no incentive to actually play the game of Warhammer 40,000. They could just point and kill. So Games Workshop got rid of that, thankfully. And so I'll take some spicy guardsmen instead of a basilisk to the face. Yarrick is looking like he's gonna be pretty cool. A classic villain of the orcs. He is the favorite enemy of Gazgul Mag Uwu Thraka. And it is really fun that the orcs, they love fighting so much that having a good nemesis is a lot of fun for them. There is a Warhammer animation where, the story of Commissar Yarrick, and literally he was allowed to leave. Gazgul was like, yeah, you can escape because I'm gonna have so much more fun hunting you down and trying to kill you again that I would have more fun than just killing you right now. And Yarrick seemingly is unkillable because he was sort of dead before, but he is back from the dead. Oh, and he literally has a rule where the first time you kill him in the game, he gets to come back to life, which is a very spicy ability on any data sheet. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be really, really fun for Yarrick, especially being able to come back and then issue orders to everything on the board once again. He looks like he's going to be really, really fun and really, really interesting. And he seems to be on a reasonably sized base. I'm so glad that he's not on a giant dinner plate with 10 other accessories decorating around him. Those diorama models, they're lovely. They look really good. The biggest offender is probably the Triumph of St. Catherine, but I don't like it. I want my minis to be a guy on a base. I don't want it to be 10 guys on a really, really big base. It just doesn't feel right. It turns a whole bunch of guys into a token. I think that's a little bit of the problem with movement trays and rank and flank games is they don't really feel that much like miniatures. Rank and flank is a little bit better because they still, you see the ranks of soldiers and you see them take damage. It feels like it's working a little bit more than just a whole bunch of guys piled onto the exact same base. It kind of, for me, a little bit, it breaks the immersion of 40K as a war simulation when you do stuff like that. It also irks me when larger miniatures have bases. The orc buggies, all of the orc buggies would fit just fine on the ground. You could just take the model and put it on the table. They don't need to have the big giant 120 millimeter oval base. It's just annoying to have to, because the model covers almost the entire base. You just have 4 square inches of base showing all around. And so then I have to sprinkle a little bit of dirt and rocks and then, but not paint them, not do as much texture in the middle because I need somewhere for the glue to actually stick the wheels to. I don't like it. It's annoying to build them. You don't get to do really, really fun basing stuff because it's gotta be basically flat because you're gluing a mostly flat model to a mostly flat base. I don't like it. Games are, if they ever don't have to put a base on a miniature, I think that they should not put a base on a miniature. Weird stuff happens, in Genestealer Cult, the Genestealer Cult buggy, it's with the 120 millimeter oval base, it is bigger than the Genestealer Goliath Transport. The Goliath Transport is supposed to be the big bus of the faction, and then this little buggy zipping around the board is physically larger than the transport. I don't like it. It irks me. Games Workshop could change this. The base comes in the box, so they probably won't, but it does annoy me quite a bit when they just give the base randomly to something. The Space Marine floaty tanks, they're okay because they're so big that if you put on, I think they stand on either the 80 or the 100 millimeter round base, but you would never know because the model basically hangs over in all directions and it flies, so you have a little bit more room to do some basing shenanigans underneath it. That's okay, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Really, really big bases for models that should not have bases. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine. But you know, it's not a pet peeve. All the amazing hobby products available from EonsOfBattle.com. On EonsOfBattle.com, we have all kinds of hobby goodies, Great Head Studio bits to spice up your Space Marines, Army Painter paints, brushes, base and cork, and we've got glue, ultra thin and ultra thick super glue. And we have terrain. It's the best way to support us doing what we do by getting a membership. Each month, members get a credit, good for any one terrain pack we've ever made, or the brand new one. New in April, we have created the Armored Accessories Bits Pack. This set is full of awesome components to make your vehicles as unique and characterful as your infantry, with all kinds of equipment, storage, barrels and tools for your tanks to carry, seals and tassels that are vehicle sized, big ol' missiles, and extra armor. So many pieces of armor plating in different sizes and styles, so your tank can get the armored treatment that looks best on them. Whether it's a futuristic war machine, an ancient Hulk, or a chaotic monstrosity, these accessories will have your tanks covered. This bits pack is by tank players for tank players and is available both digitally and physically printed for you at EonsOfBattle.com. I am really looking forward to 11th edition 40k. I've been playing some more actual 40k, 10th edition 40k. I played against a knight army and I took a crushing defeat, but I killed almost every single knight on the table. Helbrecht 1v1'd the brand new medium knight. Like, oh, it was a thing of beauty. After he failed a 5-inch charge with the reroll, which brought great shame to the Black Templars, then he got charged, tanked all of the damage, and then swung back and chopped down the little knight. It was absolutely glorious. Usually night games are a bit of a slog, but my Black Templar, we actually made it happen. The only thing we didn't kill is a gigantic Forge Roll Knight Porphyrion. I scratched the paint for 2 damage, but other than that, that was the only thing my opponent had left. And also, the only thing I had left was like 2 Marines, but it was a good game, and I'm looking forward to more. Thanks for watching.